Oh gosh. What's up? Today This is going well. Hey, it's me! Today I'm doing a craft kit that looks freaking adorable and I'm really hoping that it doesn't disappoint. And it's a little clay bake kit. I don't know what to call this. Basically, you just learn how to make these little cute bakery items out of clay. Hi. How are you? I have high hopes, and I know better. I know better than to have high hopes, but I have high hopes. One thing that does give me comfort and hope is that there is a literal book of instructions, like a 50-page book. Very thorough instructions, step by step. I think that this is a good sign. The little designs that they put in here are just precious. The price tag says $21.99. By the way, I'm wearing some of my new merch. This is my pickle shirt, in case you're wondering. Any of the short sleeve unisex shirts at the very top of the shop, if you click on those, you'll see a long sleeve option for every design. So if it's a little chilly where you live, I got you covered, literally. Anyway, let's move on from that. I think I'm just gonna jump into this. As Opie jumps off, I'm going to open this baby. Wow. Cardboard. So we have the clay. The clay looks to be very bubbly, which is weirding me out a little bit. I don't know, is that normal? Got a big thing of white, a big thing of pink. The colors are nice. These are very small. This seems a little on the tiny side. And then we've got medium packages of brown. Interesting. I do like that they gave you more white. I wish they gave you a blue, but there's no blue. And I'm blue about missing blue. I'm fine. Then we have these little styrofoam doohickeys. So those are the little cake forms. You make one 3-tiered, one 2-tiered, and one 1-tiered. Or you can just make one very awkward looking cake tower. Oh gosh, no. This, and I'm guessing this is a rolling pin. A little thing of glaze to give them a little shine. And we have a little knife with... Okay. These little cupcake liners, but these are kind of squashed and they don't really hold their shape, so I'm not really sure if this will work. Oh, cute! There's a little vial of glitter, and then we have little circular sprinkles. Whoops. These little pieces of pizza. I guess that these are the pie forms. Okay. And then I have all of this. So these are eyes, cheeks, and these little papery things, which I guess you're supposed to use to decorate. And that is everything. So I need to read this book. Rip part of the book off. Let me get all this stuff out of the way so I can properly study. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Cover your work surface with a sheet of wax paper. Okay. Will parchment paper work? Okay, so I'm actually gonna start making things. Let's see how this goes. Alrighty, first I'm gonna lay down my parchment paper. Even though it's not wax paper, it'll work. Let's start with the first project they have in the book, a donut. It's a blob with a hole. How hard could this be? I'm gonna start by opening up some of the light brown clay, and I was surprised to see how gooey and sticky this was. Roll it into a ball and use the book to measure the size. Quite helpful. Then gently flatten it out.
Not to a pancake,
but just, enough. This one turned out very wrinkly, which I tried to fix, but it didn't really work. Then I got out this little tool and used it like so to try to punch the hole of the donut, but the clay really sticks to that tool, so it definitely doesn't come out cleanly. I did try to clean it up using different techniques, but it's not very neat. Let's break into that pink clay, which was the gooeyest of them all, just
gooey.
Unfortunately, the bags are not resealable, so I put all of them into the same giant Ziploc bag because it was the only one I had. Now back to this. Let me just clean off the tool and follow the instructions to make some frosting. This is satisfying, but this is not. Well, that's a mess. I'm just gonna mix these together and start over. This time, my ball came out perfectly smooth. Let's try this again. Poke the hole. That was worse than the first time. Okay, whatever. Again, do the roll and smush. I got this part down and poke the hole. I am adjusting my technique a little each time to try to get the cleanest results and using the tips that they give you in the book, but how is your hole so perfect? That's gotta be Photoshop. Your perfect hole is making me really self-conscious of my hole. Speaking of holes, let's go for some brown frosting this time. You have to be real careful where you put this stuff because any little touch and it will stick. Okay, place it. This is getting very familiar. This time, I'm gonna take a second to clean the end of the tool before pulling it out. The directions say to twist the tool to get the clay to stop sticking, so I'm twisting. That seems to be making it worse though. Another very messy result. They are fun to destroy, but I'm trying to make a donut here. Last time, I'm going to try this. The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Except that's not actually the definition, it's just a quote. Anyway, back to the bubblegum pink. Did they actually give me bubblegum though? This time, I punched the hole in the frosting separately, which is obviously not what they tell you to do, but it did give me the neatest results so far. Although, let's be honest, it's not flawless. Finally, I'm gonna move on to rolling out some drizzle with some white clay. They tell you to apply the drizzle and then punch the hole. Seems risky. So instead, I just cut the drizzle where the hole is. Yep, that's some fat, flat, clumsy looking drizzle. At least it doesn't look like a literal turd. Okay, fine. I'll try to use the tool to fix up the drizzle.
No! Why did I do this? I knew better!
So yeah, it does look super sloppy and messy and it just drives me crazy, so this is my final donut. You know what? Maybe I should try something easier because the donut technique the donuts kind of depressed me, but that's nothing new. Flip forward, cookies. Yes, cookies I can do. Side note, not everything looks cuter with a face. So this is basically the same first couple of steps as the donut, which we've seen, so let's skip forward to this point. Cool. Now use the tool.
Not another hole.
I'm just using the end of it to make a little smile and the little bead eyes and the little cheeks. I mean, yes, this is cute and a little crooked, but now this is too easy. I'm bored. Let's skip to the end of the book where the cakes are. These are much more exciting to me. Start with a large ball of clay. Do not let the clay touch the book. I was trying to do that thing where, you know, you use itself to stick and clean it up. You know what I'm saying? It clearly wasn't working.
No!
Things did get under control eventually, though. You're kidding me. Now, you're supposed to roll this out. The rolling pin was a little difficult because, you know, it sticks, so you can't use a lot of pressure, otherwise it will just completely stick to the clay. So I ended up using my hands to stretch the clay and then just using the rolling pin to smooth it out, so it was kind of like a combo effort. Once I finally stretched this out enough, it's time for all this. Now, this size clay circle is supposed to fit over the large cake form. I was skeptical, and I really didn't want to have to do this all over again, so I actually used the medium-sized cake just to be safe. So you just wrap the clay around and smooth it out the best you can, and slowly work any excess down to the bottom until you have this top hat situation, and then just cut off the excess. So would this have been enough clay for the large cake form? yes, probably, maybe. I don't know. That was super helpful, I know. Now at this point, it's looking okay. There are some cracks I'm trying to get rid of. The book says you can add water to soften it up, so I tried dipping my fingers in water and smoothing it out. It kind of worked, but also it made it a lot stickier, so probably not the best idea to do that. I'm gonna move on to the top tier, and I'm going for yellow. At this point, I'm kind of just going rogue and doing my own thing without really using the book to measure.
Oh, heavens!
I know, wild. And actually, this tier did turn out a little bit cleaner than the first one. Now I'm just gonna stick them together, and you know, it's something. I found this section on how to make bows, so I'm gonna give that a shot. Basically, you just roll out a little strip, fold it in, roll out a smaller strip, and wrap it around. I'm going to, yeah, that was my first failed attempt. I used this for the front of my cake. It got a little smushy when I attached it on there, so I used a toothpick to try to bring some detail to it, and then I painstakingly placed these tiny little pearls all around, and of course I dropped them constantly. But eventually, I did get everyone in place, roughly. Now to cover up the mess that I made of the bottom tier, I'm gonna apply some of this glaze, which you can either use as a gloss or as a glue. And I worked one section at a time, applying the glaze and then sprinkling the glitter over top. And that actually did help a lot to cover up all the imperfections. Glitter, it will mask your pain. I probably could have, and possibly should have, left it at that, but nope, it's time to get extra. So I found a section on how to make roses, and I think they look really cool, so yeah, we're doing this. You start with a clay circle, wrap it around a toothpick, and then add smaller clay circles and keep adding until you like it.
I like it.
Now just pull it off the toothpick and cut away the excess and stick it on, which is definitely very tricky to do without smushing it. Okay, now I've decorated this to the max, right?
Wrong.
So I made another one, a white one this time, and that looks kind of awkward now. So you know what this needs? More flowers. So here I go making more, and I was actually having a lot of fun with this technique. Dang it, no. Except when that happened. I think I may have gotten slightly carried away, and I'm still adding stuff. Finally, I can call this done, okay? But I'm gonna make one more cake. But since I didn't have enough of any of the bright colors of clay left, I decided to combine them and roll them together. I am being careful not to mix them up too much because then the color will be really muddy, but just enough to create a marbled kind of weird tie-dye thing. Oh, I'm just realizing now that I had a ton of white clay left, so I totally could have mixed one of these colors with the white and created a very pastel version of the color. I'm just realizing this option now. Oh well. I'm working much faster this time because I feel like my problem with the pink cake was overworking the clay and having the clay out for too long. Then I'm going to add a little face.
Aww.
There is a bit of a bald spot. Because I didn't want to stretch the clay too thin, I'm going to stick a toothpick in there and wrap some brown clay around to make a unicorn horn. Now about that bald spot. Yep, more flowers, more and more. They just keep coming. You can barely even see the horn anymore. I'm gonna take some of these leaf paper cutout things and use those to fill in some of the kind of awkward gaps. I know that this unicorn doesn't look like it has ears. I didn't have enough clay to make the ears because I used it all on the flowers, but let's just say that they're under the flowers, okay? They do give you a little box that you can fold together. My cake doesn't really fit in there, but you know. They also give you these cute little plates, What was that? And this adorable little cake stand also. And so yeah, here are my final 3 creations. You know, I didn't put the murdered donut up there because he kind of ruined the aesthetic. But these are the final 3, and I am pretty happy with them. They're obviously not perfect, but you know, not bad, I'd say. So now I'm going to go into talking about my overall experience with the kit and whether or not I would recommend it. Enjoy. What did I think of the kit? I think this is a decent little kit. They clearly put a lot of thought into how this kit was going to be made. The book is great. Their techniques didn't always work for me. I ended up improvising a lot. Minimum, it was a great place to start. Did I struggle?
Yes.
The thing that made it the most difficult is how sticky the clay is. It sticks to everything. But if you let it sit out too long, it starts to crack. It's best to work quickly with this. I don't know that this is really my forte, these little tiny and clay and I felt like I was really bad at it, but I did get better at it with practice. I wasn't a big fan of the colors of the sprinkles. That's just a personal preference. That's why I didn't use them. Other picky things, the cupcake liners, not a big fan of because they're so flimsy and they came so deformed. I didn't even bother with the cupcake. If I could only change one thing, I would definitely make the clay bags resealable because that was a mess and a pain. But it's not a deal breaker. It's not something that's going to completely ruin your experience. It doesn't make the kit unusable. So honestly, this was a good kit. In the end, you have a cute little finished piece, a whole book of ideas that you could use in the future, and you have some little tools that possibly you could use as well in the future. So I'm happy. Am I super pleased with what I made? They're a little messy and that's not the kit's fault that I am not skilled with clay. You know, they're not too bad. It is a little tricky, it is a little sticky, but I think anyone from an older kid to teen to adult would have a fun time with this kit, as long as you love cutesy things and you like to be creative and you don't mind being patient and going through some step-by-step instructions. And I'm so relieved because after last time I was starting to feel like good craft kits just don't exist. They're out there. There are some that aren't complete crap, and it's not just because it's desserts. That's a big part of it, but that's not the only reason why I like it. I can look at this objectively and say it is a very well put together kit, and what can I say? I'm impressed. So guys, we did it. We found a kit that isn't absolutely terrible. So yeah, that's about it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm very glad it wasn't another train wreck, although sometimes those can be funny. I'm glad that things ended up okay this time. So yeah, I will see you guys next Friday. Bye. By the way, I forgot to say this in the video, but I did want to let you guys know I'm not doing Monday uploads anymore. I did make an announcement on the community tab for my notification squad with a secret little video on there explaining the reasons why I'm not doing them. But basically, I just think that this will be a more sustainable schedule, so I'm not ending any series or anything like that. I'm just going to cut out Monday uploads, so I will only be posting on Fridays from now on. Okay, bye for real now.